Hey everyone, welcome back to She Tried It. Today's video is based on y'all's suggestion. I made a video with some pattern suggestions and y'all were really liking that and y'all wanted me to suggest more patterns. So if this goes well, this might become a little series, but today we're gonna be talking about 10 spring knit and crochet patterns I think you need to try. And by 10, I mean 5 crochet, 5 knit. But first, if you don't wanna watch this whole video or if you want more details, I guess, or if you want different details than what's gonna be discussed in the video, I have a link in the description box with links to the patterns that I'm talking about, if I made a video, the video that I'm referring to, and I listed some yarns that you could use to complete those patterns. So please feel free to check that out and I hope you enjoy and find something you like. So let's hop right into it. To get started, the first spring pattern I would suggest is the wrap top by Macleod Crochet. This is a crochet top. It's very beautiful. I do have a video on it, and this was one of my early makes actually. I do love how this turned out, and I made it in the color white. The designer is very sweet. I did get stuck on one part. The issue, I think, was that the pattern is written for 3 sizes maybe, and I had to go a little bit larger than the largest size. So doing that modification, I made myself confused. I'll blame myself for that. But it really is a beautiful design. I love how it turned out. It is so pretty and I highly recommend everyone making it. I honestly recommend this pattern for anyone who's like a beginner but trying to branch into more difficult things. So if you don't want to have to maybe struggle or learn anything new, I would not recommend this pattern. But if you want to kind of branch out into more intricate stitches, I would highly recommend this pattern. Next up is the Annika sweater by Showroom Crochet. This is a new designer to me, so I'm not gonna go into the designer because I didn't do that much research. The pattern that we're talking about looks basically like a polo shirt and it is so pretty. I love the way she styled it and I love the color that she chose to make this top in. It looks really, really nice. I think it's really cool how she was able to get a polo structure out of a crochet top, but that just shows you how versatile crochet is, that you can make the collar and the little front slit. That looks really, really nice. Something to mention is that this pattern is available in Spanish, so anyone who speaks Spanish, that might be a plus for you. And this is classified as an intermediate pattern, and I think that's just because it's probably some stitches that you're not maybe used to, but I don't get the feeling that it's very difficult to complete. But she does say it's an intermediate pattern, so again, if you're a beginner trying to stick with the simple stuff, and maybe this is something you put into your list a little bit later on. The next pattern I want to suggest is the Abuela shirt by MM Making. I love this shirt. It is so pretty. I do have a video on it, so if you want to check out that video, you can. I absolutely love the color that I chose to make that top in. It turned out absolutely beautifully, and I got a lot of compliments from y'all, so I think I'll like that too. For me, this was a free pattern. I think I've gone through the whole story, but for those that are new here, I made the Abuela tank, I think it's called, first, and then the designer was so impressed with my video that I made on it that she gifted me this pattern, and I'm so happy she did. She actually gifted me a bunch of other patterns, but this is the next one that I made, and I love how it turned out. It's perfect for somebody that's gonna be in warmer weather. It's very breathable. It is really, really nice. If you check out my video, I did make a modification. The original pattern has buttons going up and down, and I've never put buttons on anything, so that kind of made me nervous. So I just kind of seamed up the front up and down and had a little slit at the collar, and I think that would be nice for anyone who doesn't necessarily want to wear it open and closed. I just kind of seamed it all together. The next suggestion is the Leonore floral top by Sunshine and Crafts. I'm really getting into like the granny stitch and granny squares, and if you're someone who really likes that as well, you would love this top. It seems very beautiful. I think you can really show your creativity by selecting the colors that you want to use to make this granny square. You could do different shades of the same color and go for a monochromatic look, or you could just do random different colors and just make it really bold and poppy. I think there's so many different ways you can be really creative with this, so it's a really fun pattern to work with. If you are a beginner, I think this would be a great beginner top. I think granny squares are very beginner for most people. It's really hard to make a granny square difficult. So if you're someone who wants an easy spring make, this is the one to go for. The last crochet pattern I'm gonna recommend for today is the Perfect Peplum top by Stephanie Aaron. And this is something I have made. It turned out beautifully. Now, Stephanie Aaron made hers with true glue yarn, and I used a more wool fabric. So mine does look a little bit more warm, weathery than hers does. But either way, I think you can make it work for either climate. I think both of our tops turned out beautifully, and I really like how this make worked. It was all one piece, so you didn't have to seam anything together, which is a huge plus for me. I hate seaming, so That was really nice, and it minimized the amount of ends you need to weave in. A bonus though, if you do use the same yarn that Stephanie Aaron used, which was the True Blue yarn, your drape is gonna be amazing. We talked about drape in my last make, and drape with True Blue is unmatched. If you're looking for a drapey fabric, go with True Blue and make this pattern. And I do think it's very beginner friendly. It may take you a while, but it's very, very beginner friendly. Okay, hopping straight into our knit pattern suggestions. Of course, we have to start strong with my bestie. I'm gonna recommend the Ballerina Wrap Top by Two of Wands. I am in love with this designer, and I made a lot of stuff from her, but I have not made this top yet. I wanted to mention this top because I know sometimes when I bring up patterns, people are wondering how they can make that in the opposite version. So if I bring up a crochet pattern they like, they want to see a knit version of it. So if you like the top that I mentioned from Muto Crochet, this is a great dupe, I guess you could call it, in a knit version form of that. It does have a different feel in terms of how it wraps around than the Muto Crochet top, but still absolutely beautiful. I really do want to make this one day, and this one is all in one piece as well. The Wrap Top by Muto Crochet is panels that you kind of seam together, and then you add the ruffles on, but this one looks like it's more of a, is it raglan? I forget the term, but it's all one piece. That's really nice, and if that's something you're into, definitely check out this pattern and support my favorite designer. The next pattern I want to suggest is the Wrap Me Up Sweater Scarf by Knititude. I don't know if you remember this video, but it's a pretty well-watched video, so you might have already seen it if you're familiar with my channel, but I have made this top. I made it very early in my knitting journey, and I wouldn't really suggest it for an early knitter if you're not someone who's looking for that difficulty. I found it difficult because it suggests using DPNs, and that did not work for me. I ended up using the magic circle, but something I found in a recent comment on that video is that someone was making the same top, having the same difficulties I was having, and they just decided to make it flat, like knit the whole thing flat and then seam the sleeves, and I thought that was a brilliant idea. So if you're someone who's been staying away from this top because you don't really know how to knit in the round, I highly recommend just making it, knitting it flat, and then seaming the sleeves to kind of match the pattern, and I think it'll turn out beautifully. Another thing to know is that this pattern is so versatile. So even in the way that Knititude models this pattern on her page, she shows it with like a big flowy dress in the wintertime, but then she also shows it with jeans and a t-shirt. So you can dress it up or you can dress it down beautifully. And another way that it's been commonly used, which I love seeing it used this way, is that brides and like mother of the brides make it for weddings. And I think this is such a beautiful shrug to wear on somebody's wedding day. This is a very versatile top, and I really recommend looking more into it if it's something you're interested in. And be sure to check out my video I made about it. The next pattern I want to recommend is the Orbital Jumper by Rontu Studio. Now again, this is kind of a new designer. I have mentioned her on my channel because I absolutely love her work, but I've never actually made anything from her. But I love how this top turned out. I remember when she had testers showing it off, and it was so beautiful. One thing I love about this top is the way that she styled it. She makes it look so cool, which I think is really nice. And I like the fact that she doesn't get too difficult with the pattern. Like, she added so much character from this pattern by just using 2 different fibers. This is a great pattern to check out if you want to work with some different fibers. And just from the looks of it, it looks like it will be very beginner friendly. So if you're a beginner, this might be one to check out. The next pattern to mention is the Fishnet Cardigan by Park and Knit, which I'm actually wearing today. I absolutely love this cardigan, and I know I've said that before, but I don't think y'all really understand. This is probably my most worn knit cardigan that I own. I love this cardigan. It is so pretty. I live here in Houston. I don't really have cool weather too much of the year. I have a lot of warm weather, and sometimes I just want to wear a sleeveless or short sleeve top, but I just want something to cover my arms, and this does it for me. I love how this turned out. Now, I did use Curio No. 3 yarn, and I haven't told y'all this yet, but unfortunately, We Crochet will not be working with me anymore, so I might not be using Curio No. 3 for a little while, but I still recommend you trying it out if you haven't, regardless of if they want to work with me or not. This is still like one of my favorite yarns, and that's not going to change anytime soon. I think I may have gotten my hands on something that's very similar, so when I confirm or deny that, I will definitely bring it to you and show you some alternatives if you want to check out other yarns that you can use. But still, I highly recommend trying out Curio No. 3. I love how this turned out. Again, this was a free pattern. I did a pattern test for Park and Knit, And when you do a pattern test for her, you get a free pattern that you can choose either at that time, or you can just like kind of save it and get a pattern in the future that she comes out with. And she has so many patterns, so I'm still not sure if you should wait for when she comes out with a future pattern or just get one at that time. And I really think that if you're looking for something to make, I would definitely recommend starting with this pattern by Park and Knit. It is so nice and it's so lightweight. If you live in the South, you need this pattern, trust me. I really love this pattern if you can't tell. The last pattern today is the Aprilla top by Yelly's Wonders. I think this top is more like if you don't want to do a cardigan version, you could do a sweater version of the Park and Knit cardigan. And I think that it looks really, really nice. Again, it uses a very thin yarn. It's very breathable. You can wear it over something. It's a great layering piece for spring, honestly. This is a new designer for me, so I'm not familiar with her patterns, but she seems like she has some really good designs, and I would definitely check out her other designs if you don't like this one. This is a pattern that I've really been wanting to make for a while, but as y'all know, cardigans have a chokehold on me. So when I found this pattern by Park and Knit, I chose to make this rather than the Aprilla top. But I think both would be absolutely beautiful. That's all I have for today. This was kind of a quick video, hopefully. I didn't take too much of your time. I hope you found some pattern suggestions you liked. If you did, let me know below which one you want to make first. And don't forget to check the description box below for links to these patterns, links to my videos, links to the yarn you can use. So everything you need should be in one place. And if you like how that is, let me know, because this is definitely something I'd love to keep up. I will see you in my next video. Bye.